And if you're just tuning in, two unlikely mates, celebrity stylist Elliot Garno and Norm Smith medalist Isaac Smith are here to tell you what is what.
Hey, no Utes in the Valet.
Coming up.
I want to tell you that the first time I sat at a sewing machine, it was this profound moment where I was like, I found my calling.
That's incredible.
But I didn't.
Oh.
You can't go wrong with the classics.
You thought that I was some entitled, pretentious brat.
Yeah, so she nailed it.
The technical hamstrings,
Yeah.
you know.
I learned a little bit of sewing in year 9, Cootamundra.
How'd that go?
Not well.
No. Yeah. And we had none of it.
Oh, mate, don't you dare.
That's all that matters, right?
Yeah, well, Effie, you don't need to know this about me, but I sleep naked.
I do too.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Yeah, but you don't have a 6-year-old daughter or son.
Oh, okay.
So it's
See, I
getting-
was thinking about this because obviously she's on the way. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Because I can't have anything touching my body.
What about your husband?
Well, I'll tell you what, there's nothing worse than when you wake up in the middle of the night and it's the middle of winter and you got kids screaming and you sleep naked, but I'm still running the gauntlet at the moment.
All right, hold on. First things first. Enough about you and your
You're a
noodle.
realist.
Enough about you and your noodle.
Noodle.
Guys,
You know what I left this morning? Emma goes, see you noodle head.
so, well, that's because you're not wearing anything around
So
the house,
he's
mate.
effectively calling me a dickhead.
The Disney version.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Sorry, Effie, this is about you.
this is unbelievable because today we've got none other than Effie Kats, aka Effie Kats as she is known on the streets,
Yep.
who is one of my best mates, my closest confidant in the industry. We forged our friendship through the industry and then have gone on to become like really a massive support for each other, which is special because we always say about No Utes that we get to have these conversations with people that we know well, but we don't get to sit down and like have the time to really like get into it. But before we do that, because F's been so fucking micromanaging over this script and she's made sure she's seen all the questions, I'm going to kick her off and throw in the hot seat some shit she didn't know. So F,
Here we go.
how do we, because Rosie just said this to me before, how do we know each other? And did we like, you know, oh no, Rowan said it to me. Did we get along at the beginning or like, how'd you meet? What was the story?
We couldn't stand each
I knew
other.
it was coming.
Well, 2 alphas in a row.
I thought he was the most insufferable prick I'd ever met in my life.
Effie, we've got something in common. I thought exactly the same thing.
No, well, you know what? Look, it was a different time.
We
And I
met on a
think
gig for
we met
a
on a
champagne
gig.
brand that we were both working for around
And
tennis.
Elliot used to think I was a juzzer.
Explain that.
What's a juzzer?
What's a juzzer?
A juzzer is
This
it's a
might mean
colloquial
different.
term for Giuseppina. So Elliot just thought that I was basically a big wog with no taste.
Oh, no, I didn't. Your words, not mine, mate.
Excuse
Your
me.
words, not mine. Get
How many
fucked.
references have you made to my neon yellow?
We'll throw one
latex
up.
dress?
We'll throw one up.
Okay.
Bing, you'll see it right now on screen. And Effie thought that I was some entitled, pretentious brat.
Yeah, so she
from
nailed
the-
it.
Well,
fuck off.
okay.
From the mean streets of Toorak. So look, but much like the harmony of No Utes in the Valet, we found friendship in an unlikely place, and
Well-
here we are today, mate.
well,
It wouldn't have
when
been
we
in Coburg.
Do you know what's actually fucked? We spend so much of our time in Effie's, I was going to say store, it's like part store, but also part workroom in Coburg.
Yes.
Like a lot of our friendship is in Coburg.
Does your
Sydney Road,
driver,
Coburg.
does your driver even drop you off in Coburg? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, when I'm paying enough.
Do you start getting hives when you're going over the
I love
Baltic?
Coburg.
Like-
Epic food.
Yes, you do love the Lebanese
We
food.
always eat fucking well in Coburg.
We
I
do.
love having meetings at F's office because the food's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Also, F's team are legends. Like, there's a really great group of people that Effie's now like got around her at Effie Kats. There's obviously 2 businesses, which we'll get into. One is based in Coburg, the other's based in Springvale.
Yes.
And the team is just like, there's just cracking people. So it's all about
It's
people.
just good vibes.
Good vibes
Yeah.
all around. But on that, we've come a long way. But
We have.
not only have we come a long way in our friendship, but you have come such a significant way in your career. But the career obviously started in a very different place. So paint the scene for us. You know, what does your earliest memory of your grandparents' tailoring world actually look like? The smells, the sounds, the chaos. It's you've been in this world your entire life.
Well, that's where it all began. So Dad was a tailor. Dad used to have a formal hire business, which was actually a really big thing back then. So you'd have standard sizing and then, you know, bridal party comes in. If they need alterations, it was my yaya upstairs who was doing it. So he had this little workroom and that's where I would go after school. So I would see it all happening. You yell on the machine, you got the presser. We had a kebab shop up the road, so I'd always get my kebab after school. Tibbers, it's the best kebab on Sydney Road. I'm just going to put it out there. Nothing's
Actually,
changed
I wanna
in
go there for
30.
lunch
now.
No,
I'm
it's
starting.
it's actually amazing. I've got to take you there next time you're in Coburg. But yeah, from such a young age, I was immersed in it.
So when did you realise that fashion was your first language in your family?
It's always been such a big part of my family because, you know, Dad, obviously being a tailor, so passionate about it. My grandma was a machinist for Country Road. And I just have these like vivid memories of like whenever we'd have events and occasions, you know, Greeks, wogs, we have a lot of occasions. Dad would always make us outfits and my mum outfits. And I used to look at my mum and the way she'd accessorize it and these beautiful dresses Dad would create, which are probably so daggy now. But at the time I thought they were fabulous. And he'd make me these dresses and I was always like, well, I want these particular shoes. I remember once they bought me these shoes to go with my dress and I was like, they didn't go with my dress. I was like 5. I was like, I'm not wearing these shoes. They feel wrong. We need to go get me other shoes. But yeah, fashion for me was just always so intrinsic to like our family. Dad had Vogues everywhere. And then as I got older, it was always men's because, you know, Dad was in men's. So I had this hobby, which is probably the weirdest hobby for a kid, but I'd read through these men's magazines. And what I would do is I would pick out outfits that I'd like and then I would translate them to women's wear and I would draw them as a women's outfit, which is such a weird thing to do.
That actually makes a lot of sense
Yeah,
though, because
yeah.
I think about like what I know of EK and like when
Yeah.
I first started like recognizing the brand, you were making women's.
Just EK.
Sorry, Effie Kats.
For
Yeah.
our listeners
For
that
EK.
probably
Sorry, for Effie Kats. Thank you. Thank you, Izzy. Wow, it's fucking tables have turned pretty quickly here. But who's bossing who around? With Effie Kats is that you primarily started making women's suiting. So that actually makes sense.
Yes,
But
we
what-
did. But that was, for a host of reasons, which we can get into.
So well, I want to know more about like your first memories of like being on the sewing machine. What were the first things that you were personally making?
I want to tell you that the first time I sat at a sewing machine, it was this profound moment where I was like, I found my calling,
That's incredible.
but I didn't.
Oh. Oh my God. I honestly thought that that's where you were going. I'm like, Jesus.
Fuck no.
I've never met this bitch. I'm like, who's this?
I swear a lot, by the way.
That's all right.
Go right.
It was design tech class and I wanted to make this bodice. And in my mind, I was like, okay, we're going to stitch this seam straight. And like my brain was like straight and my hands were like, So I realized pretty quickly that technical skill was not, not my thing, right?
Yeah.
So, but luckily vision was.
Well, isn't it amazing? So one of my hobbies growing up was my auntie and uncle lived around the corner and they had one of those old school sewing machines with the foot pedal.
Yeah. We've
And
got them all. We've got
you've got
like
them
this,
all?
the machines
The
are
wooden
like
one
from
that you spin
the
yourself?
60. Oh, no, not
Yeah.
that far. What's that like?
So that was one of my
1800s?
hobbies as about an 8-year-old. We've
No.
taken very different paths, so
Yeah.
Effie. But no, it's fascinating. I did D&T at school as well.
Did you?
What?
Yeah.
What do you
Why?
mean? You were stitching
Because
And
that's
dresses?
also,
technology.
for what purpose? Like, what were you even making? I can't even imagine that.
Yeah.
Well, if you did D&T, it meant you did cooking as well. And I love cooking. So,
Wow.
Great.
yeah. So I learned a little bit of sewing in year 9 in Cootamundra.
How'd that go?
Not well.
No. Well, it's harder than you think.
It's so difficult.
Yeah, it really is. And I'm such a perfectionist where if I can't do it right, I'm like, I hate it. Let's move on.
Yeah.
If I can't be the best at it, I don't want to do it. I don't want to know about it.
So let's use that as an example to progress into your first business, which was called Zachary.
Mhm.
So how does this chick from Coburg, working with her yaya and her dad in the tailoring shop and the formal hire business, go on to immediately at such a young age start dressing Kendall Jenner and Gigi Hadid? What was that
It was
story?
a bit of a process because I never studied fashion. So, and I think that's because I was in the back end and I saw how hard it was that I wanted to avoid that. And I also wanted to forge my own path, right? And I always loved fashion photography. So, reading all the magazines and seeing all these incredible editorials by like Stephen Meisel and all these incredible photographers, I was like, I want to be that. So I started that, and then I was weaving fashion into everything I was doing. It was fashion photography. But I realized that much like sewing, I wasn't great at lighting and exposure. So, you know, the technical hamstrings, you know.
Oh, is that why you weren't fussed about the lighting exposure today when Elliot was carrying on about it?
Oh, mate, don't you dare. This chick knows it. Like, this chick could honestly light the Met Museum at this point.
No, I know what makes me look good, but that's about it. And I know what doesn't. And
you know what, mate? That's all that matters. That's all that matters,
right? But we've done well here.
Yeah, exactly. It's looking check.
It's funny. I just want to jump in. It's funny that you say you never studied fashion, because I think a lot of the people that are best at their craft and the people that we see that reach the actual height of heights in whatever they do, and sports, one of them is that they don't necessarily nail the exact thing that they want to do, but they're gathering knowledge and information and skill doing everything else, and then they fall back into the path that you're falling in.
I think I'm not going to say what saved me. That's not the right word, but I can't think of a better way to phrase it. It's what I had was an innate understanding of what women wanted. And it primarily in the beginning stemmed from what my needs were. So I was a uni student. I couldn't afford to look the way I wanted to look. And options were a lot more limited in those days. Like we had couture, which was super basic, and I just felt didn't really speak to me.
Yeah.
And then you had Manning Cartel, which at the time was a really hot brand, you remember?
Yep.
But so expensive. I couldn't afford $500 for a dress. And so for me, I really identified a niche, and I had this love at the time for Tom Ford and what he was doing, the sexiness and the simplicity. And I was like, I want to be the Tom Ford of the everyday woman, you know.
I mean, pretty fucking cool strategy, to be honest, because talk about inaccessible and expensive Tom Ford, but like
correct,
an aesthetic that everybody can relate to.
Really, no one was doing it at the time. So
this was Zachary.
And
this is when you started Zachary?
So this was,
which for those listening was Effie's first brand, which we're going to dive a little bit into now.
Let me just paint a picture for you. So after photography, when I realized I was shit at exposure and all the rest of it, I then went into PR and was like weaving fashion into every PR assignment I had. And then it was about 3 a.m. I had an assignment due, and I was like, I'm dropping out. This is not for me. And I'm going to start a brand. I don't know. It was literally just like a download that I had where it was like, stop, you're on the wrong path. You need to start a brand. Fucked if I knew how I was going to do it. But
so
I knew I had to do it. It was like a compulsion, right? And I remember going to my mum and being like, Mum, I'm dropping out of uni. And she was like, again? And I was like, yep. And she's like, what are you going to do? And I was like, I'm going to start a fashion brand.
But how did you have the courage? Where did you find the financing? Like how? Like for those listening who could potentially be wanting to start a business, like how did you actually, obviously a lot of fucking balls, but then what?
Because I feel like that is ballsy because, and especially the industry you're going in as well, because I'm guessing a lot of people that start fashion brands fail.
But that's my personality.
I mean, this story will be going in that exact direction because Zachary did end up closing.
Yes, but my thing was, and I guess I did have an advantage in that I had a workroom that I could go and work out of. And I said, Dad, I want to start a brand. And my dad was like, great, how are you going to pay for it? And I was like, well, I'll work for you for free. And then you help me pay for whatever I need to pay for.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. And it was tough because I was living off like sandwiches from home for how long? Like butter and Vegemite sandwiches for years.
Yeah.
Not years actually, because to be honest,
Vegemite on toast though, like it is a pretty good breakfast.
You can't go wrong with the classics. But yeah, so I went in, I was helping Dad with his menswear, and then I had a friend who was a pattern maker, brought her in. We started doing some pieces. I started off with like literally one little rack in Coburg, and it was like not a full rack either. But what I started doing was I started wearing it, promoting it, and then people were like, oh my God, I love that. Oh my God, and then it gained this momentum. And then we started using models and we started creating collections. And then within 6 months, we started to, we hit like cult like status. Like we went viral. Everyone was wanting.
How did you market that though? Was that
you know what?
like at the start of social media?
It was the start of social media, but what we were putting out was so different that it really just took off in the most natural way.
And then how did it end up on like Kendall Jenner and Gigi Hadid? Like, how are you getting this stuff over to these like international supermodels?
Well, I'll never forget the day. I got an email from Monica Morales, who was their stylist at the time. And she just said, hey, we've seen your brand on Instagram. And there weren't that many brands on Instagram. So, you know, it's so oversaturated.
What year is this, F?
This was 2013.
Okay, so Monica reaches out to you in 2013 and she says, we love your brand.
Love your brand. Here's what I'd like for Kylie, Kendall, all of them. She just rattled them all off. I want them. These are the sizes I want. And we had none of it.
But you made it happen.
Yeah, because look, our production, you know, was like Australian made, and you're hamstring with lots of things because you've got this bottleneck of I've only got one machinist, and then, you know, a fabric is scarce or whatever. So we really, and then she was like, and I need it by next Wednesday. And it was like Thursday the week before. So we were like scrambling to get it together, but it was amazing because we sent it off. And then I don't know if you remember that moment where Kylie Jenner dyed her hair green for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
She was wearing Zachary.
Was it?
That was Zachary.
Babe, you were in the King Kylie era. You were spearheading the King Kylie era. She should have got a fucking free lip kit.
I should have got a fucking invite to that party.
Come on.
Like,
that
sorry.
fucking party just happened, mate.
I made you.
This is bullshit. Kylie, if you're listening, we don't even want your fucking free lip kit.
So there's a couple of things I want to pick up on that. In any business life, there are opportunities that present themselves.
Yep.
Is that your major opportunity, or are there other opportunities that are presenting themselves throughout business that you get the choice to go, actually, this is going to be too hard, or I've just got to go all out here?
I think you got to weigh up, like, you know, what is the business going to ultimately gain from this, and is it worth it? Because you get so many requests, right? And it's just figuring out which ones are the right ones for you. And for us, I think we hit such high heights really quickly that I'd set the bar at that standard. And I probably didn't take a minute to just go, oh my God, this is amazing. It was always like, I've done this. Now we've got to do this. Now we've got to do this.
To be fair, you're still a bit like that.
No. Well, I know, right? I'm working.
But you wouldn't build a successful business if
without
you
it, and
like
that's
that.
why she's been so successful.
You need to.
And I don't think that ambition should be anything but celebrated.
But what I will say, and obviously we get into this later, is that I was actually deeply unhappy during that period because I really wasn't appreciating these incredible things that I was achieving. It's almost like they came too easy. Yeah. And then it just didn't feel, I don't know, it didn't feel special to me. It was just like, well, what's next and what's next and what's next? And I was always chasing, you know, bigger and more and more. And then when you lose everything, which we'll obviously get to, and you start, you know, from scratch, you appreciate every little win because you've come from complete decimation, and that's ultimately where I've been happiest, but we'll get into that later.
Let's jump into that. It's a great segue in the way that you had this immense success and you said it happened so quickly. You've got stylists requesting for the biggest models in the world.
Yeah.
Celebrities are loving it.
Yep.
And it all happens within the space of 12 months.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
gone.
The lights turn off and the business goes bankrupt and it all disappears overnight. And you go from immense success to essentially looking at this incredible empire that you're starting to build just fall through your fingers. How does that feel, and how did you manage that?
Well, I just want to say, I think for me, what my core issue was, and I never like to blame because I think the minute you blame and you point the finger, you become a victim, and I don't like that, right? So yes, I brought in someone who was completely wrong for the business that I thought was going to do these amazing things for our production and our expansion and whatever. And he had other intentions, right? But for me, it was more, okay, why did I attract that? And why did I bring a person like that into my life? Why did I feel like I needed that? And why didn't I trust myself enough? And that's what I came to, was that whilst I was achieving all these amazing things, I actually didn't trust my gut. And I didn't trust myself. So I was always looking for external validation. And ultimately, that was my downfall.
So talk to me about, you know, some of the most successful people in the world have collapsed, come back. They've gone through so many ups and downs. Talk to us when you're in the depths of that. How are you feeling? The emotion around it?
Oh, it's fucking dark.
Yeah. Well,
it was dark because what happened was, I think the thing is, we've talked about this a little bit, but I have insecurities that probably stemmed a lot from childhood. And for me, it's not things that I ever really dealt with. So when you don't deal with these things, they surface and they manifest in other ways. So when I lost it all, I really had to sit with that. That's all I was left with. And when I had to really face and deal with and process those things, that was probably one of the most challenging times, but the most rewarding in the long run. But when you're like, fuck, I've just worked for this label that's got cult status. We've got 270,000 followers. We've just dressed all these celebrities. Everybody knows, and everybody knows I'm going to fall on my fucking face. Like, everyone knows it now. It's in the paper. It's everywhere. It's gone. And you wake up every day and you're like, I'm fucked. It's scary.
So how do you bounce back from it?
Well,
how do you think it shaped you today?
Well, I think having the grit and the determination and the resilience to go through that and to get up every day, bit by bit, not having all these grand things that you had, all these stores and all this infrastructure, and starting from zero and going, you know what, I'm just going to battle it out day by day by day. It taught me actually to value every single little win. And I've actually found through that process that I'm so much happier, because what it took for me to pull myself out of those mental depths and to work hard and chip away at it, not knowing whether I was going to succeed again, it's scary and it's confronting. But what I will say is I had a really I'm going to say profound. I don't know if profound is the right word, but I had a friend come over and he said to me, I was feeling really sorry for myself because I was like, well, I've lost it all and what am I going to do? And, he this and he that and whatever. And he was just like, no one gives a fuck. This is my best friend from primary school.
Yeah. Can we mention his name or?
Tim.
Tim.
Love you, Tim. And at the time I was like, I'm suffering and I need empathy right now. But he said, no one gives a fuck. If you never get back up again, if you never succeed again, you're just going to be another has-been. And the only person that's going to affect is you. So you got a choice now because no one else cares. And I thought about it long and hard over the 5 months mental breakdown that I had in my mother's backyard. And I was like, well, I don't want to be that.
Yeah.
So I better fucking get up and do something about it. And that's what I did.
Do you think that
day by day?
Do you love, through that adversity and the subsequent resilience you found, do you love the woman that you've become now?
I do. I'm really proud of her. I think there's always elements where you're sort of like, there's things you don't love about yourself. There's, I've still got imposter syndrome. No matter how much fucking therapy I've done, I still got that. But I'm really proud of myself for overcoming that, because I know I can intellectualize that that's not something that just everyone can do.
What are your biggest learnings out of that period?
I'm like, whoa, keep going.
Too far?
No, just fucking proud of you, mate.
Oh.
Just really fucking proud. Really fucking proud of you. Really fucking proud of you. Go on.
What were we saying?
What are your
biggest... Lost my train of thought.
Yeah, sorry. What are your biggest learnings out of it all? Because you have built now this very successful business, are there key pillars you've built that business off because of past experiences, or are there values or lessons that you have printed in front of you to make sure that things go a certain way or never happen again?
I think the main thing for me was that I just didn't trust my voice and I ignored my gut instincts because I thought, oh, I haven't gone to school. I don't know better. I've never done this before. And honestly, I went through so many really difficult experiences with Zachary, with production. Stretch garments are an absolute beast of a thing. And
ironic because now you've built a fucking empire on them.
well, yeah. Well, fuck, I know enough about him to get it right this time. Jesus, I've made every mistake under the sun that can cost you a lot of money. So we're sticking with it. I felt my lack of formal training, that gave me especially an imposter syndrome. And I thought, I need someone else. And even though the things he was saying to me were like, I didn't quite feel were right for us, I was like, well, he must know better. And I think that ultimately comes down to I didn't trust my own voice.
Yeah.
And that was my biggest lesson out of it. And now if I feel that something's right in my gut, that's where I won't compromise. I am very malleable. I love to listen to others. I love when people are more impressive than me. Like that excites my soul. But if I really feel in my gut that something's right, then I'm like, no, guys, I've got to push for this because I've seen what happens when I ignore my gut instincts.
Okay. Zachary's dead and buried. Fuck, it made you
dead and buried. Let's move on.
The woman you are,
Yes.
and Jesus fucking Christ, like, albeit extremely difficult, what an incredible woman walked away from that situation. So as I just said, I couldn't be prouder to be one of your best mates, but I'm sure you must be so proud of yourself and your family must look at you and just be so, so proud of the woman that they...
I mean, we're not really those wogs.
Well,
so
mate.
Move it on, baby.
Send them my way and I'll have a chat to
on?
them.
Like, come on.
Let's talk about fucking now, because now the tables have turned and where your career is now versus what we just closed out on is a completely different ecosystem, universe, whatever you want to call it. Effie Kats, which is your namesake label, and then, of course, Bayse, which is the label that I am now working on with you in 2026 as creative strategist, who you're in partnership with your incredible partner, Dylan Hine. So these are two of the most successful Australian fashion businesses right now. Not only are you globally stocked for both brands, you're in how many doors now at David Jones? Are we allowed to say for Effie Kats?
Oh, it's a lot. We've just opened up to, I think, is it 18 more doors? Yeah.
One of the most highest moving fashion labels in David Jones right now is Effie Kats.
Yeah.
International retailers like Selfridges, who is arguably the best department store in the world, of course, apart from David Jones, of course, in London has now picked up, and throughout the UK has picked up Bayse.
Yes.
So it's a fucking time to be alive when you're at the helm of these fashion brands and your name's Effie Kats. So like, what the fuck? What has made them resonate so widely?
I think I come back to, I have an innate ability. Don't want to toot my own horn here or anything like that.
You may as well. No one else is going to toot it.
No.
What did Tim say? Get over it. Get on with it.
Toot it. Toot it. No, but I think I really get what women want, because I'm an overthinker, sometimes to my detriment, and sometimes it comes in handy, right? So I always think about, what does my customer want? What's she after? What are her needs? Where's she going? Like, what are her insecurities? What does she want to enhance? What does she want to conceal? What does she need? And I never deviate from that with both businesses, even though they are both aesthetically so different. I know what they need, and my goal is always to give them what they need.
So how do you know what they need? Because for those listening who aren't overly familiar with Effie's brand, so Effie Kats is a ready-to-wear label that specializes more in event dressing and evening wear, and Bayse is essentially elevated wardrobe essentials, so everything from denim to plain white t-shirts. If you're watching this episode on YouTube, I'm actually wearing Bayse as we speak, the t-shirt and the jeans.
Yep.
So albeit very different aesthetics, you kind of round out the entire
different
wardrobe
markets.
for the female and sometimes for the male audience when it comes to Bayse. But like, how do you determine the different aesthetic in the brands?
Particular through the Effie Kats process, obviously when I was starting again after Zachary, I couldn't afford to bring out a range and start a label in the way that I did in the first time. So it was the custom suits, but also we were doing custom dresses.
Yeah.
So I was dealing a lot one-on-one with women and understanding, and I would ask them the right questions. So what makes you feel good? What are the necklines you like? What do you like about your body? What do you not like about your body? Where do you want concealed? Where do you want enhanced? What lengths do you feel are flattering? So through that process, I learned so much about women and their different body types and their different needs. And that's something that helped me set the foundation. It gave me a really solid understanding of all different types of women. I'm talking from a size 4 to a size 20 plus. And yes.
So you got to understand. I mean, that means you know everything from the fact that how they want their bum to look in a pair of jeans all the way up to how they want to feel at their daughter's wedding.
So what we've done now for both companies is we've made multiple profiles, because I think you can't really say who's the Effie Kats customer, who's the Bayse customer. You can't put women in this one category because we are all so diverse, right? So we have 5 or 6 different profiles for each customers. They've each got a name. They've each got a different job. They've each got different needs. Where are they going? Are they going to the office? Are they price conscious? Are they, more conservative? Or are they the girl that's out every weekend and she needs a new dress? So each profile is a completely different girl. And we make sure for both brands that we're catering to each of these women for every season.
So do you think is fashion global because you have built your brands in Australia, you're Australian made, you are international? How does that translate so easily? Because I feel like fashion goes in cycles. I'm obviously very naive to fashion, but I feel like different trends happen at different times, or a social media.
And different countries as well.
Different seasons.
Different seasons, different markets, different trends are coming through. I mean, we're a bit less trend driven. There are nods to trends. But
how do you beat trend driven then?
Well, it's not beat it, it's embrace it in the right way where it still is timeless, but there is that nod to it with each collection. So it feels like the brand is moving forward. We're keeping our girl current, but at the same time, it is a dress that you can pull out of your wardrobe in a year's time and it is still relevant. Like cape sleeves are in, but we're not doing
That's what she's wearing right now.
It's what I'm wearing right now.
What she's wearing right now.
They were good.
F, what do you reckon it is that has these businesses are now machines? They really are. They're industry leading and they're at the forefront of what it is to be an Australian designer today. Excluding your innate ability to understand what women want, what else do you think it is about both Bayse and Effie Kats that has found this success?
I think for me, what I found is I'm not interested in being the hottest brand. I want to be the fail-safe, the constant, that they know that they can come back to us and they can find what they need. And I think when you stick to that core value, you can't go wrong.
Well, it's funny, the depth that you gave us before about purely talking about each individual person, knowing price points, all that.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing a lot of fashion brands are young 20-year-olds, upstarts that just want to do something, but they don't have that level of knowledge.
Sometimes they're not thinking about the consumer. They're designing more from and I say this to my design team, because I'll be like, I don't think this is going to work for our girl.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, but I like it. And I'm like, it doesn't matter what you like. It's about her. It's always about her.
Well, it's funny because at the start you said, I didn't go to fashion school and I didn't do this, but the knowledge that you accumulate, and we mentioned it through everything else, that then you can translate into that business and having all those different experiences. And I think, and just going back to a young person, you think this is exactly what I want to do and I'm just going to go on that path instead of branching out and finding. But it feels like you've done this master's degree in fashion, but brought it all from different areas of life and then put it into one.
But always think about your consumer. What does she need? And that's what I feel like a lot of designers do forget. And that's where you can fall flat on your face. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes, people might love your aesthetic and you create a cult following or whatever. But ultimately, if you're not catering to your girl, you're gonna lose.
So how quickly do you pull something if it's not working? So if you go live with something
and it doesn't work, and look, sometimes I get it wrong. I'm human, you know, but I'm also really open to being wrong and then understanding why we're wrong. You know, we've got, you know, our little showroom in Coburg where our
not for much longer, babe. You're
not
about
for
to
much longer. We're
take up
up to
residency
High
at
Street.
High Street. Oh, no.
Yeah, but it's been a beautiful beginning for us. And, you know, I get really great feedback from the staff and they'll say, this neckline didn't work because of this. This dress didn't work because the back was too low or it was too loose here or whatever. So I'm always taking on the feedback. And I think when you start to become dogmatic and you're like, no, it's got to be like this, that's dangerous.
Okay. What do you think, lastly, before we get into this next chapter?
Yes.
I'm looking at you looking radiant.
This one?
In her.
This one?
In her. That one.
With my button
that
open?
one there. For those listening, Effie's just pulled up her top and given us her bump. But what do you think is the most common misunderstanding of success in fashion? Like what's the reality behind closed doors?
Common misconception. I think, I really think that there's this thing about like going viral right now. And whilst I get it, there's not necessarily longevity in it. You can be at the top and you can drop to the bottom so quick. And it's like, don't chase that. Be true to you. Listen to your consumer. And as I said, for me, it's not about being the hottest. It's about being the constant. And it's about meeting my girl's needs. What does she need?
It's funny because we'll now transition into an area of your life that I feel like I have a little bit more experience in than
That's
the
why
fashion.
I give you more questions.
That's why
I'm giving you more questions. I'm like, you go, you know this, kids.
But motherhood. So you've got a bit on your plate. You're running these two successful businesses. You're about to have your first child, which is a huge shift in your life. It doesn't matter who you are.
I don't know if you reckon it's as big as a shift as what you think it's going to be totally honest.
I am actually starting to shit myself the closer we get.
Don't. You'll get through
quietly.
it. You got through a business failing. You'll get through motherhood.
Let's not get me spiraling because the interview's not done.
But you're also renovating your own home.
Yeah.
But I think it's amazing
And a
now.
store.
My wife runs a business that we own. She's had 3 kids. But I think it's amazing now women are able to do all this and still have children.
Yes.
How are you balancing it all?
I want to tell you that like I've got this incredible routine.
No, tell us the
I'm up
tell
at
us the
5
real
a.m.
version.
I'm meditating.
Trust me, she's about to.
I'm drinking matcha.
I can see where this is going.
I'm hanging on by a fucking thread.
Yeah. That sounds realistic.
But I think for me, it's like I can put in as many plans as I possibly can. But when you're running a business, things don't go to plan.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I've got to deal with this. Okay, done. Now I can deal with this. Great. Okay, now we've got an obstetrician appointment. Awesome. Or, I've actually missed my last 2. So I need to get down there for a scan ASAP. But you know what? It's just like you just keep at it and you just get it done. I don't know. And that's how I feel like I'm going to go into motherhood. I don't know. I don't have the answers, but I'm just going to get it done somehow.
Yeah. But you've got the most incredible support network
I
right
do.
next to you in your legend of a husband, James.
He's fantastic.
Where does James fit into all of this chaos? I know that he's such a massive support network and a person that you really, really lean on in the chaos of your life.
Yes. Yeah, he's like he's the yin to my yang. I'm the fire, he's the ice. He puts out the fire constantly. Yes. So what, like marriage, you're saying?
No,
like,
I'm like, where does James fit into all of this chaos? He's a real constant for you, right?
He gets it because he's running his own business too. And I think for us and what's really important for our marriage is there's some non-negotiables, which I learned the hard way because, I like to push boundaries sometimes. But I know after a certain hour, he doesn't like me being on the phone. So I just won't take calls after like 7:30. Okay, 8.
Bullshit, I called you at 10:30. I told you at 10:30. Actually, if I pull out my call log, let me have a quick look. We were on the phone at 10:30 last night.
Because he passes out at 9.
I was going to say, because he was in
So
bed
I give
and
him
he
a
gets
good
over.
hour and a half window and he's happy. Or dinner. I can't touch my phone during dinner. And Sunday is our day. We take our dog to the park and, we spend that time together. Even if we're literally laying down on the couch watching TV next to each other, not talking because we're both just like zombies from the week that we've had, we set aside that time and it is tantamount, I think, for us to like, have a really like, it's our stability.
Yeah.
It's our foundation. If you start messing with the foundation, things fall apart. And it's really important to both of us that it doesn't.
So 60% of our listeners now are women between 25 and 60 years of age, which I'm not sure you thought that might be the case when we first started. But my wife, her biggest struggles through pregnancy, not her biggest struggles, but a lot of her struggles through pregnancy was what to wear, how to wear it, and then post having a baby.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, hence why I'm recycling this top, because not a lot fits.
Yeah.
So what is,
will something come out of this with your businesses, or have you found these, well, naturally you have, but how have you dealt with these changes in your body and then still looking beautiful, putting yourself out there?
I don't know about that. But look, I was, everyone's like, what are you going to do? Are you going to do like a maternity line, or are you going to do a kids line? And I said, well, I've got enough going on right now. But what I'm going to do is, because obviously you go through different stages. I've got like 12 different sizes of jeans now.
Yeah.
You learn how your body changes, and as your body changes through each stage, you have different needs. So what I wanted to do was go through the process, understand the needs, and then, baby number 2, there'll be a maternity-friendly line coming. Because I think there is a huge gap for it.
Really?
Yeah, I
did. Exclusive?
It's come. Yeah,
it is. We've got exclusive. No Utes in the Valet, ladies and gentlemen. But baby number 1's not even here yet, so let's hold our
But when
breath.
I say friendly, someone non-pregnant could wear this top. But it's just, there's not a lot out there that does suit pregnant women as well. So I want to incorporate those pieces so they've got those options. Because
I feel like it's funny, like, so my wife wears a lot of my clothes now. Because they're bigger, they're loose, they're daggy.
Yes. A daggy?
Well, my clothes are daggy. But like as in they're just, I don't know, they're more wearable because they're bigger. So no, I was very interested in what you'd say, and we've now got a new fashion line coming.
Oh, and any advice just for women who are listening at the moment who are pregnant, who might not necessarily feel the most fabulous in their body right now, but they want to go buy some new bits and pieces to integrate into their wardrobe, what would you say to them?
I think invest in the right pieces. So like for me, what's been really important for, people say to me, how are you still wearing jeans? And I'm like, okay, because I bought huge jeans that I knew, at the start I had to belt them because they were a bit too big, but they last me. And then I could build my outfits on that. So if you have your core pieces, you can build your outfits on them.
Okay, that's great advice. I mean, that advice, by the way, is actually universal.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily restricted to pregnancy too. Like if you have your core foundation pieces in your wardrobe,
correct,
you can build out a great kind of repertoire of pieces that you can
because pregnancy tops, like, there's so many stretch tops out there and stuff like that. It's more bottoms where we struggle.
Yeah,
so size up, belt them at the start, and then they'll last you. You just, I say it goes in quarters. You start at one size and then you're at another size. So just have your core pieces that you do invest in for that period. And then, as you go that size up, you make that investment again. And then for the next kid, you got them there.
Mm.
So talking about having these core pieces, so Sam Coolis on Chapel Street.
Sam Coolis great? Is he great?
Yeah, do you know Sam?
Sam Co.
Great on Chapel Street, do you know him?
Do you know what? Sam & Co. actually has my first Zachary store. That's my store.
Fuck off. We talk about Sam & Co. in every episode. I'm like, who is this Sam Coolis bloke?
I lived that
On
window.
top of
That was my bedroom window.
No way.
Yeah.
That's a great little store.
And it was some of the funnest times of my life. I was completely out of control.
Speaking of the funnest times in your life, it's a great place to finish, because at 35 years old, you've lived a lot of life, more than most, and you've had extreme highs and extreme lows. But if you could speak to that young, hungry designer in Coburg right now who's dreaming of this life, what would you tell her?
I'd tell her that you're different and it's so okay to lean into that. I think my whole life, I felt like I never fit. I felt like I was never really understood. I always wished that I was like this or like that, or, I always felt like a misfit and an outcast. And it was something that really affected me. But in time, I found that actually the most important thing and the thing that connects me to people like you, for example, like we're from completely different universes, but I think it's like when you lean into your authenticity of who you really are, that's what resonates the most. So don't fucking waste your time wishing you were different. Just be you, because that's what people are going to love.